This is honestly insane. I can't believe what I'm looking at. We've got a new AI system called Kimi K3, and it can generate a mostly functional recreation of an entire Mac OS-style operating system, build games with an Animal Crossing-inspired feel, create other playable experiences, and much more. And the really interesting part is how close its capabilities are getting to today's frontier AI systems. Some of those models are becoming increasingly restricted, but this one takes a very different approach. It is an open weights model, meaning the weights can be downloaded and used freely. You can actually own them instead of depending entirely on a closed platform. That alone is a pretty remarkable development. Now, there is one obvious catch. And no, I don't mean that it is big news. I mean the model itself is absolutely enormous. We're talking about 2.8 trillion parameters. That is far beyond what most people can realistically run on a home computer in its full form. But you may still be able to try it online for free, depending on availability. And API access is reportedly much cheaper than many current frontier models. Even if you never use Kimi K3 directly, models like this can still have a major impact by putting downward pressure on AI token prices. And these giant models often become the foundation for smaller distilled versions, so their capabilities can eventually reach much more accessible hardware. But the model itself isn't even the most interesting part. The researchers also revealed some of the architecture behind it, and this is where things get really fascinating. The first major idea is Kimi Delta Attention, or KDA. Imagine a huge research meeting where every person has to reread every document and every conversation that has ever happened before they can contribute. That wouldn't be a meeting. It would be torture. KDA takes a different approach. Instead of constantly rereading the entire history, the system maintains a continuously updated internal notebook. It focuses on the important information, updates that memory as new information arrives, and gradually lets less useful details fade away. This allows the model to handle extremely long sequences without carrying the full history around every time. But then there is another problem. What happens when information passes through dozens of layers inside the model? This is where the second idea comes in. Attention residuals. Think of a document moving through several departments. Department 1 edits it, then Department 2 gets the latest version, then Department 3 modifies it again. Normally, by the time you reach Department 4, you mostly have the newest version. Attention residuals give the model something extra, access to information about earlier versions as well. So instead of only seeing what the document looks like now, later layers can also retrieve useful information about how it changed along the way. Put the two ideas together, and you get something pretty powerful. KDA helps maintain and update useful memory, while attention residuals allow the model to recover important information from earlier representations across layers. According to the research, combining these techniques provides roughly a 2.5 times improvement in scaling efficiency compared with Kimi K2. And just to be clear, that doesn't mean the model is literally 2.5 times faster or that it costs 2.5 times less to run. It means the training process can extract roughly 2.5 times more learning progress from the same amount of computational resources. That's a huge improvement for a single generation of model architecture. So what does all of this enable? The impressive coding capabilities, complex applications, games, long context reasoning, and everything else we're seeing from the model are part of the picture. But the bigger story is what happens to the rest of the OpenAI ecosystem. Every time researchers publish techniques like these, other teams can study them, reproduce them, improve them, and incorporate the ideas into their own models. Progress doesn't happen in isolation. The entire ecosystem moves forward together. And that is what makes this moment so exciting. Yes, Kimi K3 is currently far too large for most people to run locally, but distilled versions could eventually bring many of these capabilities to much smaller systems. And when that happens, the technology becomes dramatically more accessible. We're entering a period where OpenAI models can potentially run alongside open-source software on infrastructure that anyone can access and improve. Researchers, developers, students, and scientists around the world can build on the same ideas instead of waiting for a handful of companies to decide what becomes available. That is the part I find most exciting. The technology keeps getting more capable, while the knowledge behind it can spread across the entire research community. And if these capabilities continue moving into smaller and more efficient models, advanced AI could become accessible to far more people than ever before. What a time to be alive. I use Lambda to reproduce AI research papers, often in minutes. It's also useful for training your own models, fine-tuning existing ones, running inference, or experimenting with text-to-image and video systems. You can even run a DeepSeek chatbot or agent with powerful NVIDIA GPUs. I use it to test ideas from the papers I cover, launch experiments, and get results quickly. Love it.